The rage virus changed horror forever, turning slow-moving zombies into sprinting nightmares and proving that the scariest monsters aren't always infected, they're human. Nearly 3 decades later in the story timeline, the world of 28 years later is crawling back from extinction, and what's waiting on the mainland is far more disturbing than anyone imagined. Evolved infected, twisted cults, survivors who've built new religions out of fear and power, and at the center of it all is 28 years later, The Bone Temple, one of the most anticipated horror movies of 2026. Welcome back to Your Nerdy Show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master. Today, we're breaking down the major characters who will shape this brutal new chapter. From Ralph Fiennes' haunted doctor walking among the dead, to Jack O'Connell's cult leader who may be more dangerous than the virus itself, to the shocking return of Cillian Murphy's Jim. These aren't just survivors and villains, they're symbols of what humanity becomes when the world ends and never truly recovers. So buckle up, because we're diving deep into the characters of 28 years later, The Bone Temple. And by the end of this video, you'll see why this sequel could redefine zombie horror all over again.
Now, a leap into the unknown.
Dr. Ian Kelson, the man who refuses to forget, Ralph Fiennes. Ralph Fiennes steps into the world of the rage virus as Dr. Ian Kelson, a former general practitioner who has transformed his grief into obsession. In a world where survival often means forgetting the dead, Kelson does the opposite. He dedicates his life to memorializing the victims of the outbreak, building monuments, recording names, and preserving stories that would otherwise vanish. He's not fighting infected with guns or blades, he's fighting erasure. Kelson's journey takes him to the mainland, a place most survivors refuse to step foot on anymore. What starts as a mission of remembrance quickly turns into something far more dangerous when he uncovers a discovery that could alter the future of humanity. Whether it's a potential cure, a horrifying evolution of the virus, or proof that the infected are changing in ways no one anticipated, Kelson's knowledge makes him both valuable and hunted. Ralph Fiennes excels at portraying men burdened with guilt and moral complexity, and Kelson feels like the emotional spine of the film. He represents humanity's conscience in a world that has largely abandoned it. But the big question remains, can someone who lives in the past survive a future this brutal, or will his compassion ultimately destroy him?
Let's turn this up to 11.
Sir Lord Jimmy Crystal, the cult king of the mainland, Jack O'Connell. If the infected are the physical monsters of the Bone Temple, then Sir Lord Jimmy Crystal is the psychological one. Played by Jack O'Connell, Crystal is the charismatic, terrifying leader of a cult known only as the Jimmies. Styled after celebrity worship and modeled disturbingly on real-world predators, this cult thrives on manipulation, fear, and devotion. Crystal isn't loud chaos, he's calculated insanity. He offers lost survivors a sense of belonging, protection, and purpose, only to slowly strip away their identity. The mainland is his kingdom, and the collapse of society has allowed him to rewrite morality on his own terms. Jack O'Connell's ability to balance charm with menace makes Crystal especially dangerous. He's the kind of villain who doesn't need the infected to kill people. He convinces them to destroy themselves. What makes Crystal truly terrifying is that he understands people better than the virus ever could. He exploits trauma, loneliness, and fear, proving that in the aftermath of civilization, belief systems can be just as deadly as monsters.
I've been developing an idea about the nature of the infection.
Spike, the child who walks into hell, played by Alfie Williams. Spike is a young boy raised on a survivor island, protected from the worst horrors of the mainland, until illness forces him to leave everything he knows behind. His goal is simple but devastatingly naive: find a cure and save his family. Spike's journey mirrors the franchise's long-standing theme of innocence colliding with brutality. He's not a trained fighter or hardened survivor. He's a kid navigating ruin ruins, cults, and infected that are far more dangerous than the stories he grew up hearing. His path crosses with Dr. Kelson and, tragically, with Sir Lord Jimmy Crystal, who sees Spike not as a child, but as raw material to shape. Spike's induction into the Jimmies is one of the most disturbing elements of the film. His arc explores how easily hope can be weaponized, and how the apocalypse doesn't just kill children, it corrupts them. Alfie Williams brings vulnerability and quiet strength, making Spike's choices and consequences hit hard. His story asks whether hope can survive when it's surrounded by monsters wearing human faces.
We may have diseases.
Jimmy Inc. Devotion or Doubt. Aaron Kellyman plays Jimmy Inc., one of the most prominent members of the Jimmies, and a key figure within Crystal's inner circle. Inc. is sharp, intimidating, and deeply embedded in the cult's rituals. She may be responsible for marking members, enforcing loyalty, or shaping the cult's twisted identity. What makes Jimmy Inc. fascinating is ambiguity. Is she a true believer, completely devoted to Crystal's vision, or someone who has simply learned how to survive within the cult's structure? Kellyman is known for portraying characters who blur the line between revolutionary and extremist, and that energy fits perfectly here. Her interactions with Spike are especially important. Inc. could act as a mentor, a manipulator, or even a quiet protector in moments of doubt. Whether she remains loyal to Crystal or begins to question the world she helped build could have massive consequences for the cult and everyone trapped within it.
Predict the future is a discouraging and hazardous occupation.
Samson, the alpha of the infected. The infected have changed, and Samson is proof of that evolution. Played by Chi Ruiz Perry, Samson is an alpha, larger, stronger, and seemingly more intelligent than the rage monsters we remember. He's not just leading packs of infected, he's commanding them. Samson represents the terrifying idea that the virus didn't stagnate, it adapted. His presence suggests hierarchy, strategy, and perhaps even emotion. This raises disturbing questions about what the infected truly are after 28 years. Are they still human? Can they think? Can they be reasoned with? Lewis Perry's physicality makes Samson a living nightmare, but it's the implications of his existence that elevate the horror. If the infected can organize, then humanity may already be extinct. It just doesn't know it yet.
We're going to kill you first.
Jemima, the false comfort. Jemima, portrayed by Emma Laird, appears to be the cult's softer face. She may present herself as nurturing, calming, and welcoming, especially to new recruits. But in cult dynamics, figures like Jemima are often the most dangerous. Her role likely involves emotional manipulation, enforcing loyalty through false compassion. She represents how abuse often hides behind warmth and reassurance. Emma Laird's subtle performance style makes Jemima unsettling, because her menace doesn't come from violence, it comes from trust.
Are you Old Nick?
Old Nick? You mean Satan?
Jimmy Jones, Jimmy Snake, and Jimmy Fox, the cult's inner machinery. The remaining Jimmies flesh out the cult's twisted ecosystem. Jimmy Jones, Jimmy Snake, and Jimmy Fox aren't just background villains, they're reflections of how different personalities adapt to power. Jimmy Snake embodies betrayal and stealth, acting as the cult's enforcer or assassin. Jimmy Fox thrives on cunning and survival, always thinking one step ahead. Jimmy Jones may be the most relatable, making her actions all the more disturbing. Together, they form a system where individuality is erased and replaced with predatory instinct.
Details, events, and people.
Jim, the survivor who started it all. And finally, the return that changes everything. Jim, played once again by Cillian Murphy. The man who woke up alone in an empty London is back, older, scarred, and shaped by decades of survival. His appearance near the end of the Bone Temple connects the past to the future and sets the stage for what comes next. Jim is no longer just a survivor, he's a symbol. His return raises massive questions about leadership, legacy, and whether humanity can ever truly recover. Murphy's quiet intensity ensures that even a brief appearance leaves a powerful impact. 28 years later, the Bone Temple isn't just continuing a story, it's evolving it. With cults, alpha-infected, and a new generation forced to inherit a broken world, this film promises to be brutal, emotional, and deeply unsettling. These characters aren't just fighting monsters, they're fighting what humanity has become. So, which character are you most excited to see? Dr. Kelson's search for meaning? Jimmy Crystal's reign of terror? Spike's heartbreaking journey? Or Jim's long-awaited return? Until next time, stay sharp, stay safe, and remember, in a world ruled by rage, survival always comes at a cost.
I believe the infection can be treated.
Our nerdy thoughts. And that wraps up our deep dive into the major characters of 28 years later, the Bone Temple. From haunted survivors and terrifying cult leaders to evolved infected that challenge everything we thought we knew about the rage virus. This film is shaping up to be more than just a horror sequel. It's a brutal exploration of what's left of humanity after nearly 30 decades of chaos. Every character feels like a ticking time bomb, and with cults rising, monsters evolving, and legends returning, the future of this franchise looks darker than ever. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel for more horror deep dives, ending explanations, and character breakdowns, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. Until next time, stay sharp, stay safe, and remember, in a world ruled by rage, survival always comes at a cost.
No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.